Hey everyone, welcome again to another 360 Timmy. In this episode, I'm looking at people uprooting and moving countries. Now, some of us move towns or counties in our lifetime, and some of us take an even bigger leap and move entire countries and continents. Today we're going to look at people who've had to move as a result of war or political containment. Now, there are also some of us affected by their parents getting a job in another country or in the forces, and in that particular case, I spent most of my early life travelling Northern Europe, particularly Germany, with the British Army and my parents.
West Germany. Among the NATO forces based here are 70,000 servicemen from the British Army and the Royal Air Force.
It was the most surreal time. We lived in West Germany in the 80s, at the time of the Cold War, the Iron Curtain, and in fact, here is a picture of little Timmy, age 5, with his grandparents at the Berlin Wall. And you can see into East Germany and see an East German Stasi officer up in the control tower, keeping an eye on things.
Alongside the barracks are the biggest training ranges in the whole of Germany. It was a key site during the Cold War. It was effectively on the front line and home to 1st Armoured Division, as well as the Desert Rats from 1947. It remained a key strategic base and has supported many overseas operations.
You're tuned to the British Forces Broadcasting Service in Germany and also in West Berlin.
This is BFBS Television, a division of the Services Sound and Vision Corporation.
Thanks to BFBS, we had our own radio station for Germany and a television service which carried a bit of BBC and ITV.
Say hello to a new group of viewers 700 miles away. For the first time, 160,000 British servicemen and their families in West Germany have been able to watch the 9 o'clock news live from London. We're reaching them via a special microwave link involving some 17 relay points across 6 countries and ending in München-Gladbach. The link's been built by the Royal Signals Corps at a cost to the Ministry of Defence of around £20 million. The signal is even picked up by British troops in West Berlin. An army spokesman there said it was marvellous to see BBC News in Berlin 102 miles behind the Iron Curtain.
Now for the first time, live from the BBC, the main news of the evening, with the local time at 10 o'clock.
And among our new viewers, Sergeant and Mrs. Nick Bowl and their friends from the Royal Ordnance Corps.
When I returned to the UK in 1985, aged 10, I almost felt like an alien. I had to live in a country that I only ever seen briefly at Christmas or summer holidays. And to this day, I find Germany like a second home when I'm lucky enough to visit. My case, of course, was pretty standard in the 1980s. The UK still had a significant military presence in Germany. Today, though, there are families forced to move thousands of miles to a new country or culture, and I want to focus on those in particular in this episode. First of all, to Ukrainian student Nazaru Lan, who at the age of 17 moved thousands of miles to Japan.
There are a lot of questions about how I actually managed to move to Japan at such a young age, because, it's kinda interesting, how is it possible? Be honest with you guys, I didn't expect it either. I have been interested in Japanese culture, anime, and things like that for a long time. I have been buying some posters, some manga, I have been doing some cosplays, some other things. Because of that, I started to think, how I can move to Japan and live there? So that thought has never left my mind. I was watching how much tickets to Japan even cost, even so I didn't have any money to buy one. But to my surprise, a big thing happened.
Major news. After days on a razor's edge, Ukraine is now a nation at war. Just hours ago, Russian forces began their attack. President Vladimir Putin warning up.
First of all, I want to mention that I'm Ukrainian, and as you may know, there is still a war there. But the point is, I was 17 years old at the time. It means that if I would have turned 18 years old in the area of Ukraine, I would have to go to the army, and I wouldn't be able to leave the country anymore, since there is a law that doesn't allow this. I was just scrolling some internet, and I saw a really interesting post. There was writing that they are helping Ukrainians who need a shelter in Japan, and there was also writing that they are going to pay all fees, including the ticket to Japan. And after I pressed the link, I just wrote my personal data and other things. At that moment I was just like, even if it's scam, there's nothing to worry about, because, there's a war here, and even if I write some data or things like that, nothing will happen. I was just like, Okay. Yep, I do some stupid things sometimes. But to my surprise, the reply to the application came in about 5 hours later. And then there were more questions how I'm going to Japan because, as you may know, there are no flights that are available in Ukraine because no planes are entering or leaving the country. So I took my backpack, said goodbye to my parents, and I went to Poland. And I was sitting on the train to Poland. I was like, stop. What I'm doing right now, lol, it just can't be true. I'm just fooled right now. And I just wanted to, return to my home, turn on some anime and watch it. I didn't even know why. Because before that, I have never traveled to somewhere by myself. But since I had a chance to move to Japan, I just decided to go anyway. But to my surprise, when I got to Poland, the person that was in charge of that program came from Japan to Poland to meet with me. And I was like, stop. A Japanese person is coming to Poland to meet with me. It kind of sounds interesting. So
now you really have to admire Nazaru because he moved to Japan on his own with his family remaining in Ukraine. He lives alone in a flat. He documents that life and going to a Japanese school, teaching himself Japanese and English, and some of the quirks of the Japanese culture.
Fancy vending machines. I know, it sounds already quite fancy, but you know what? We still have vending machines that are selling women pants that you're able to buy and do whatever you want with it. And it has even a smell of that woman or girl. I don't know, it depends from what you're buying there. I just thinking about it right now and I can't imagine someone in Europe just going to a vending machine and buy someone's pants and sniff them. For me it's like a bit wild, but we still have such machines here in Japan. So if you're like a wild person that is not able to create a real girlfriend, I'm not trying to insult you right now if you don't have a girlfriend. In Japan, for such people, we have a special vending machine, so you're able to buy some pants and you can satisfy your feelings with that. I have never seen something like this before, and for my brains, it was just a blowing up mind thing.
Now, I spoke about living in Germany in the 1980s when the Germany of today was split into two countries. The communist GDR, the German Democratic Republic, and West Germany, the Federal Republic of Germany. In these times, East Germans couldn't travel beyond the GDR, encased in the Soviet bloc by the wall, fences, guard towers, minefields and dogs. When the wall fell in 1989, which led to reunification, you had two cultures of the two countries that had to reintegrate after decades of separation. What made you leave the army and go to the police? So was it just a tenure thing, or?
The thing is with the army, because I was relatively fit at the time, I was cavalry unit, but I transferred to the Ordnance Corps, who were very laid back. And because I was really fit, and they had taskings like the Falklands, Gibraltar, Arctic Warfare, Allied Command Europe, AMFL it's called, Allied Command Europe Mobile Force Land, like a rapid reaction unit. I kept getting sent on it, and I had a word with the boss, and I said, look, with all due respect, is there nobody else in the unit? And he looked me in the face and said, technically no, because we don't trust anyone else. And he said, you're the only one we dare send that won't make us look stupid. And it was pretty much after that I went, well, kind of had enough. I think I'll try something else. And as I say, I left the army, became a fitness instructor, and obviously saw the job.
Do you know, though, my story at the top of this about living in Germany in the 80s as a result of World War II, we were in peacetime. It was very different. Nazaru living in Japan on his own, 17, his family back in Ukraine, learning Japanese, learning English, learning about all the cultural changes, because obviously Japan's very different from the West. I think that's a great story, and it's great watching him learn about Japan and how it works and his thoughts on it. Now, that's all we've got time for this week. If you'd like to reach out to me, please contact me at 360timmy.com. I'd love to have your comments and likes and dislikes, hopefully not dislikes, but also please like and subscribe to the channel, it does help, and any suggestions, please do get hold of me. And for now, you have a super day.